With a closer look at the top political headlines this week, and joining us now is Deputy Political Director Averi Harper. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Absolutely. Okay, so a lot happened this week. Let's go ahead and start with that report in the Detroit News alleging that Donald Trump pressured these Michigan election workers not to sign the certification of the 2020 election. Not confirmed by ABC News, but what does this mean for him?
Right. Well, this could be used to establish a pattern of behavior. We know that the special counsel, Jack Smith, that his case pertaining to Trump's efforts to overturn the 2020 election, that's still looming. When we look at the statement that the Trump administration, the Trump campaign issued, they did not deny the contents of the Detroit News's report, but rather they said that any actions that Trump took were about ensuring election integrity. I think the big question here is if Trump is going to face any additional legal action because of the contents of that report. There are folks who are pointing to Michigan's bribery laws, but at this time it's unclear if he's going to face any additional legal action.
And Averi, let's talk about something else that happened this week, the ruling involving Trump's former lawyer, Rudy Giuliani. We now know that the plaintiffs in his defamation case can start collecting money, but he's filed for bankruptcy. So how does that work?
Right. We'll see if those women are going to be able to collect on that massive sum. It's not just them that he owes. He also owes unpaid legal fees. He owes unpaid taxes. And so we'll see how that all shakes out. What this case really is a reminder of is the hostile environment that there is for elections workers across the country. There are elections administrators, poll workers who see this case as a massive victory and a deterrent to anyone who could be planning to intimidate, harass, or interfere with the job that these folks do. And it's vitally important to the functioning of democracy. It's important to know that since 2020, there have been 12 states that have put forward legislation to try to better protect those workers.
There was also that Colorado State Supreme Court ruling. It removed Trump from the state's presidential primary ballot. It cited the Constitution's insurrection clause. It's a precedent-setting ruling, likely to be a big showdown over it in the U.S. Supreme Court. Trump's lawyers vowing to appeal immediately.
Right. This is a law that has to do with the 14th Amendment. There's a clause in it that says if you take the oath of office and then you participate in an insurrection, that you should be barred from holding public office. And so the Supreme Court justices in Colorado said that, look, Trump participated in an insurrection on January 6th, and so they do not want him to be on the Republican primary ballot in the state of Colorado. They do not want any write-in ballots for him to be counted in that race. And this is not a ruling without any criticism. Even Trump's 2024 rivals, his GOP candidates, right? Those folks are saying that Trump's electability should be determined by voters at the ballot box rather than by courts. We'll see what happens. We know that the Trump team is vowing to appeal that decision.
Averi, let's talk about the border crisis, because tens of thousands of people crossed the border this week, and we know that negotiations have stalled in Congress for a deal. But I know you're following this sweeping new law in Texas.
Right. This is a law that deputizes local governments, local law enforcement officers to arrest migrants and gives local judges the power to order them to leave the country. And this is controversial on numerous fronts. First, there are widespread concerns about racial profiling in the enforcement of such a law, but also the fact that enforcement of immigration is a federal responsibility. It is not one that belongs to states or localities. And so we know that the ACLU of Texas has filed a suit to challenge the law. We also know that the Congressional Hispanic Caucus has drafted a letter to the Department of Justice urging them to get involved before this law goes into effect in March.
All right. It is so good to have a political science professor here on our set with us.
Absolutely.
Averi, thank you so much for that.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.